Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me see. Yes, you can. Very good. Now, I have a very important question to ask you about the sound tonight. I am right next to um, the fan. Well, not the fan, but the furnace, which is blowing, and I want to know if you guys can hear background noise. So let me know, because if you do, then I'll move. But I'm hoping that the very sophisticated components of this MacBook Pro will muffle that sound. But if it does not, then I will move. So let me know. And because I don't feel like moving, but I will. I will. I mean, I could just actually, I should move anyway. But yeah, just let me know. I kind of like where I'm sitting now. So let me know if you can hear that humming noise. Loud and clear? Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, I promise you I could hear it. It sounds like I'm in like I think it's about the decibel of a plane before it takes off. That's no background noise. Oh, okay. Very good. I'm so glad to hear that because I did not want to have to move. Oh, no. Wait a minute. What happened? Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh, let me put the right thumbnail. That's the wrong one. I hope I put the right one for the video. This is the thumbnail. Okay. Much better. All right. Thought I had the wrong thumbnail, but well, I did, but I'm going to change it. I mean, not everywhere, just for here. Okay. Take your time, do it right. Baby, you can do it. Take your time, do it right. You can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Take your time. That's a song, isn't it? Baby, you can do it. Take your time. Do it right. You can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Take your time. I forgot who sings that song. Hmm. What song is that? Oh, well. No matter. So there it is. That's the new thumbnail. You know, I always use that blue at the base as the background for the lettering, but I've used this one before, and I just think it's really cool. It's a nice change, but I really prefer to have the blue at the bottom. That's, Royal Sussex blue. SOS Band. Thank you, Lydia. Baby, you can do it. Take your time. Do it right. You can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Baby, you can do it. Take your time. Do it right. You can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Take your time. Hey. Okay. All right. So that's enough of going down music memory lane. Let me see who was here first. Oh, I think I know who was here first. Vinny Blair. There we go. Thank you for being here first tonight. There are no prizes, but I am super, super impressed. Thank you so much. All right. Don't you just love Santa? Santa is sending some love there. Love that. Okay. Let me see who else is here. MJB, Beverly McCaskill, Lydia Washington, Winsome Jones, Deidre Mankey, Marcy Foreman, Sonia H, J Matt. J Matt, thank you for the souvenirs. That was so cool. I have my Don't Mess with Texas cup all ready to go. So since J Matt did mention that he had sent some, or they have sent some souvenirs, I don't know if it's he or she, but since them said they had sent a souvenir, I could not wait to get it. So I ran over there, even though I thought I was done with all my errands, and I'm like, oh, I got something in my box. So I had to go over there and get it. So thank you very much. And also, whoever sent well, I know who sent it, but I don't want to say because I think it's a different name that they use. But also, I had to pick up my golden blend of the Clever blend at the same time. So that was cool. And HL, thank you so much for the Cash App. Very, very nice of you. Thank you so much. And happy holidays to you. So, anyway, I'll greet everybody as I go along. Better get started. Okay. Oh, maybe I'll cut that light off. Oh, that looks good. Yes, much better. I'm so glad you all can hear that sound because this furnace is like roaring. It's kind of loud tonight for some reason, but maybe the filter needs changing. But anyway, I won't bother. Not tonight, that is. So, getting on with it, that is a very, very California, very Montecito Christmas, right? I mean, you got the beach, you got that beautiful sunset. That is like a Santa Barbara County Christmas. I remember in Montecito, there are no leaks. There are never any leaks in Montecito. No matter who they are or what they say they think they know, they don't know jack, right? Because there are no leaks in Montecito. Okay. Hey, Bunny Rose, Karen Williams, is it Francesca, Siska, Obing, and let's see, Sharon Chung is here, and Janine Bell is here. Very cool. All right. Oh, you guys are pouring in. I'm so glad to know that. I'm so glad we can like hang out tonight, right? Because not everybody has the big family around this time of year. So I will be here tonight and tomorrow evening. I don't know, maybe, yeah, probably tomorrow evening, not the morning. I'll do the evening. I'll try to go on earlier tomorrow uh, if that's helpful for some, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Got some family stuff tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Um, I have been taunting people with their gifts, right? Um, and at least one person, I gifted some very interesting toilet paper, and I can't wait for them to get it because then I get to have the fun of saying, and I think you know where to stick it, right? I can't wait to say it. I think you know where to stick it. Anyway, okay. Hey, Susie Q. Now, you all may remember the first annual Montecito Christmas parade, to the likes of which the Duke and Duchess of Sussex was very instrumental. I think they donated some money or something for it, right? Anyway, they had never had a Christmas parade before. And so that was the first annual Christmas parade. So I got a bunch of Christmas stuff to share. I didn't want to do that tonight. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Yeah, but I got a bunch of Christmas stuff to share. So I'm only doing the minimal tonight. But if you want to see some of the fun stuff that I have for tomorrow, I guess you'll just have to be here tomorrow. Yeah, whoa, am I doing a teaser? I guess I am. Um, I'm being such a tease, right? Ba-da-da-da-da, 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 ba-da-da-da, da-da, boom, da-da, boom, da-da, boom. Yeah, that's why do I know the stripper music, huh? That is a tease. uh, okay. So, Judy Matasid, Merry Christmas to you too, and Merry Christmas to everyone, Judy says. Thank you so much for being a member, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right. Okay. let's move on. And of course, thanks to Cold War Steve is depicting Christmas outside of Buckingham Palace. Get it? Bethlehem, Buckingham. So there is a couple of travelers with a newborn king, but this newborn king is not inside of the palace. This newborn king is outside of the palace. Yeah, that just goes to show how mean and cruel that royal family is. And of course, because these two migrants are trying to find a place for their newborn king, but the newborn king, as we know, is not the right kind of child. And so there's Suella Braverman with her snowplow ready to just push all of those people and their tents, even the three wise men. There, she's just gonna push them all away. So Cold War Steve has outdone himself. If you want a commentary on what's going on in contemporary Britain or the world, you need only take a look at Cold War Steve. Cold War Steve always seems to strike the right note. So very cool. Thank you, Cold War Steve. You have done it again. So, you know what? Let me see. Okay. All right. I think I need a pillow. Okay, I got a pillow. That ought to help. I was kind of. Now I feel like I'm sitting too high, but that's okay. I will manage. So, little town of Buckingham. Like I know that song, Little Town of Bethlehem. Anyway, so apparently our travelers are a little bit off of their directions because somehow instead of ending up in Bethlehem, they ended up at Buckingham. Let me see here. Devani Gordon, thank you so much for being here. Gwendolyn Daniels. Okay. Okay, just looking at a couple of the comments. Church Nelly says, has Baron been in the elves' wine already? uh, Not yet. Not yet. Okay. All right. So I'm just looking at a couple of your comments here. Dutch Minot says, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. Can't stay. The guitars are being pulled out and it's time to sing and party. Nice. Nice. I hope you have a great time. Merry Christmas to you and all of your family. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and so on. Okay, Sharon, Marcia, Lawrence Hunter. Merry Christmas, Baron and squatters. Yes, squatties. Hope everyone, we get you. Thank you so much. That autocorrect, right? Autocorrect. Okay. All right. So, and of course, there are two Britons. There is the jet set Prince and Princess of Wales, who also has a fleet of Range Rovers, access to their private helicopter, private jets, and everything else. So it's Christmas for most of us, but for them, every day is Christmas. They have appreciated all of the gift giving from the British taxpayers that one could possibly want. They just show up empty handed as they do their. I know it's Christmas, but I can't go too long without having to go at them. But anyway, so they just show up empty-handed with a little smile and a little wave. So every day is Christmas for them, right? Right. Okay, I got that out of my system. Let me see. Like, for instance, this is how they give gifts.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's that's more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So, I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's that's more than financial.
Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So,
Well, and he forgot to say, and we bring our camera crew. He forgot about the camera crew, but oh well. Let's see. MR, thank you for the Cash App. Thank you very much for the Cash App. Thank you, MR. Well. I thought that something was wrong with that other picture of Santa Claus. Everybody knows Santa Claus is a black man. Wasn't that a song? Santa Claus. Wait, I'm thinking of another song. Santa Claus comes straight to the ghetto. Anyway, but this is something that would cause nightmares for the derangers, for the Brexiteers and the MAGA people. The very idea, as a matter of fact, I think that Meghan Kelly person almost had a meltdown. She said Santa Claus was white. Well, I thought the origins of St. Nicholas was actually from Turkey, right? Am I right about that? I thought Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, was actually from Turkey. Not from the North Pole, not from Lapland, not from Scandinavia, but from Turkey, modern day, ancient Turkey. So I think I'm right about that. Oh, yeah, that was James Brown. Santa Claus comes straight to the ghetto. Galanita 1, happy holidays to you too. Helene Grun, oh, yes, let me see, Turkey. Yeah, from Turkey. Yeah, Santa Claus is of Turkish descent. But I would like to believe that there has been a Santa Claus in every culture. And just like so many heroes and what do you call it? Oh gosh, what is the word I'm looking for? Prophets and such from the past. I would imagine that there has been a Santa Claus in every culture, that there was this benevolent being that gave gifts to people when they were sad or in need or during some pagan ritualistic time of year. So I think there's always been some form of Santa Claus. So from Myra, Turkey. Huh. Very good, Helene Grown. Thank you so much for that. Wow, that lets me know I was on the right track. Okay. Ahmed Scobie wanted to wish everybody happy holidays. He says, happy holidays, friends, and a Merry Christmas to all who are celebrating. Well, Ahmed Scobie decided to share, I guess this may be one of his favorite movies, Home Alone, and you could see Macaulay Culkin or whatever his name was in the movie. Or I think this is Home Alone 2, right? Yeah, I think that is Home Alone 2 because he's in New York, right? In the limousine. So anyway, there you go. This is what Omid wanted to share. But because of how successful Omid Scobie's book has been, I reimagined Home Alone 2. And there you go. There's the real kid that is out on the town in a limousine riding around New York City. Yes, the kid that's aging backwards. There you go. So actually, I shared that on his Twitter. I don't know if he'll see it, but I did share that with Omid Scobie. So either he'll like it or I'll hear from his lawyers. We'll find out, though. I thought it was cute. Our official chaplain of Royal Sussex. Good evening, Baron, moderators, squatty family. Merry Christmas is every day for God's people as well. After all, Jesus, risen Savior and Lord, was born for such times as these. Amen, 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 amen. Thank you so much, Jacqueline Squash, the official chaplain of Royal Sussex. Not every Sussex space has a chaplain, but Royal Sussex does. So very cool. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, so there you go. Omid Scobie riding around, enjoying the success of Endgame like a baller. Yep, just like a baller. So again, that was his version, and there's mine. Okay. Now, King Charles and Queen Camilla are joined by right-hand man Major Johnny Thompson and Princess Royale, at Sandringham before William and Kate tomorrow, while Harry and Meghan stay away again. The news is not Harry and Meghan stay away again. The news is that Will and Kate is not there. Will and Kate are not there. Now, the photo that you see on the right side, that is actually an old photo of the Sandringham thing. On the left side, the little one, that is the new photo. So conspicuously absent was Will and Kate. So why are you throwing Harry and Meghan's? Oh, I can answer my own question. They threw that in there just to make sure that people would read it. They threw it in there just to make sure people would read it. But again, there was no Will and Kate. Now that is the scandal. So why are you bothering us talking about Harry and Meghan when the truth is you ought to wonder, where is Will and Kate? Huh? And also, that is very tacky of them. Not only did they throw Will and Kate in there, but they had to throw a little eye candy because, as you know, Johnny Thompson, who is the equerry for the king and was once the equerry for Queen Elizabeth II, of course they had to throw him in there again just to make sure that they could distract from the fact that the Sussexes are not there, and neither is Will and Kate. They should be there. This is a snub. This is a snub. Have you guys ever known a year that Will and Kate did not show up at Christmas? This is an absolute snub. But that's not the only scandal. Let's take a look at last year, shall we? Last year, you might remember, you see that ridiculous hat that Camilla has on? Do you remember? Camilla wore her Grover hat. Camilla wore her Grover hat. Now tell me you don't see it too. That hat is just like one of those old portraits. It seems to follow you around the room. So at least Camilla didn't wear that ridiculous hat again. Andrew Bodie, Merry Christmas to all the squatties. I'm working. Happy New Year. Well, thank you, Andrew, and thank you for being a hero and being with your patients tonight. As you know, 95% of the time that the patients spend, 95% or more, is with a nurse. And Andrew is doing the Lord's work by being there for the patients at a time like this. So I deeply, deeply admire your work. Thank you so much for what you do. Okay. And of course, let me see here. This is the fourth Christmas that Harry and Meghan have not been to that palace. So what are they talking about? So annoying, right? Well, maybe by having their name, it drives the algorithm. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. They just can't leave Meghan and Harry alone. They wanted the Rangers to say they've been snubbed by Harry's nasty, vile family. Absolutely. Yep. That's the only reason. So anyway, let me get that creature and that hat off the screen. Uh, so take a look here. This is Christmas. Look at that. This is this year. You can see that it is wide open. There aren't that many people. The bulk of the people were closer to the church, but for most of the walk, they were quite alone. There was barely anybody there. There was a few clever camera angles so you couldn't see the vast openness of their trotting along. But, and of course, leave it to Princess Anne to go goose stepping like she's in the SS or something. Look at her. She's goose stepping like she's marching off to the Napoleonic War. She's even wearing the red and blue, just like her Napoleon uniform. She never lets it down, does she? She's always got her guard up. She's always got her guard up. Princess Anne is one of those people that sleeps with her fist balled up in case somebody starts something. Oh, well, she's a good soldier, I guess. I mean, look at there. Check it out. See what I mean? She's wearing the colors of her Napoleon uniform. And it's Christmas, a time of peace. But yeah, so that is Timothy Lawrence, who is Anne's husband. And Anne is walking with her sister-in-law, I guess, Camilla. Camilla decided to wear black. So unlike last year when she wore that ridiculous hat that seems to follow you around the room, she decided to go with black this year. Okay. And now I have a bit of a sound bite to play for you all. This one, I have to remember to cut it off because instead of saying BS, they said something else. So I got to make sure I try to cut it off just in time so not to rile up the, YouTube. But let me play it for you. The real Meghan Markle. The Meghan that so many people know and love, but yet they try to hide that Meghan from people. So, oh, you know what? I got so many screens open. Let me close a few of these before we have a mishap. Yeah, I got to close a few of these screens before something terrible happens. Okay, so soundbite is coming. And I got to remember to cut it off before the BS word plops out. So I'm going to be right here. Let me see. Which one goes first? Okay, there's two of them. Oh, is that part two? Okay, let's do this one.
Meghan Markle.
Yeah, me too.
And I have a reason for this, right? So in one of my previous jobs, we did an event for her for the launch of one of her charity collections that she was, is it like an ambassador that they are? Like,
Yes.
Yeah, an ambassador for. And everything about this for ages was so hush-hush until launch. And the people on the team at work who were working on it were all on NDAs. Like, it was so quiet until they announced what was happening. So obviously when it announced what was happening, we're like, oh my God, like, is Meghan actually involved in this? Because with these things, you do think, do the royals just put their names to it?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh my gosh, no, she's on every conference call that we have. And we were like, oh my God, that's so good, she's actually involved. So fast forward to the event that we did, and oh my goodness, it was like the most amazing work day I've ever done. I was on duty at the door, so I was on entrance and exit. And when she like rolled up in the car and got out, and basically she was, I think, supposed to greet someone first, but she wanted to actually greet the two women who kind of created this collection. And I was like, that's so nice. Like, she's not gone straight in with someone who's kind of dibble-dabbed in it, but is just using their name or something, if that makes any sense. She was really nice. Like, she spoke to them this is going to sound so ridiculous. She spoke to them, but of course she spoke to them. But we all said when she got out the car, she glows. Everyone who saw her said it. She has this glowy aura around her that is magical. And I was like, I love you, Meghan Markle. Anyway, she did the event and she did her speech, and her speech obviously was rehearsed. I know she's an actress. She didn't have cue cards. She just delivered it. And it was spectacular. And then she stayed. So she was on, like, everything with her was like such a strict time. It was like she arrives at this time, and then we have this at this, and that's it. She's gone. Like, it's such a schedule. And she extended her day, like her schedule, because she wanted to. Shall we start with Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview? Okay.
What was your initial thoughts?
Well, okay, so I just want to give a little bit of backstory to this, because I love Meghan Markle.
Yeah, me too.
And I have a reason for this, right? So in one of my previous jobs, we did an event for her for the launch of one of her charity collections that she will.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I couldn't stop it in time. It was starting to repeat, I think. So that was part of it. Let me play the other part. So Helene actually said here, I didn't want to miss this. You would think most people would have more important things to do than to watch these bottom feeders at Christmas. You would think. But no, I guess this is like the highlight of the Sandringham village, or where, I guess there's a village around the Sandringham house. I guess that's their highlight, is to see those old fossils shuffling about. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other part of that. Hopefully I get this right. Let me see.
Exciting is like the people at work who usually feel someone else probably wouldn't get the recognition. It would just be the top dogs that did. She actually said thank you and was really like, I really appreciate it, and was lovely. She wasn't a diva about the event or anything. And I tell you who were the rude people, because obviously I was on door, so we had security there, and it was bag search, etc. If you had liquid or makeup, you had to test your makeup on your hand just to show that it wasn't anything hazardous.
We have some call outs for people who were a bit diva-ish.
Well, the diva-ish ones were the royal advisors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know, I remember I was stood there by the lift. The security guard said to the royal advisor, like, oh, can you test the makeup on your hand? And then she like scoffed at it. And I was like, are you not used to doing this? This is your life? And I was just a bit like, she was snooty. So I thought that was really interesting. And then we get back to the office, and it's chaos in the office, because journalists are trying to find any negativity to do with the factory where the collection was made. So we had, I'm pretty sure one journalist had actually flown out a couple of days before to the factory and was ringing us. I'm at the factory, like, we're investigating claims that they're not being paid the national wage, slave labour, and they were digging. Obviously, they couldn't find any trace of that because it wasn't true. It wasn't happening, whatever. And I was like, do you know what? This is so messed up that she's just done this. And that's what the press is saying. And I remember reading a headline, I think it was like the Daily Mail. It was like, Meghan Markle leaves event early to go and feed Archie. And I was like, she didn't leave the event early. She overstayed.
Yeah.
And it was all bullshit. Like,
okay, so that was the word I was trying. That was the word I was trying to prevent, but oh well. But yeah, so if you all remember, and I think I'm have it right with the smart works. She didn't say smart works, but if you remember, they were saying that Meghan left early to go feed Archie. That was a lie. They were trying to investigate the factories where the clothing was made, or the accessories were made. That was the reaction of the tabloid media, is that they wanted to try to go over to the factories and prove any way they can, which means if they would have had to pay someone, they would have paid someone to say that, oh, things are awful here and Meghan is overworking us. That was the reaction. That's how thankless it is to be a part of that institution as a person who actually works hard. As a royal, Meghan's work would inevitably be credited to the crown. It would be credited to the queen. But instead, they decide to go on the attack. I mean, everything is done in the name of the crown. And at the time, of course, that would have been in the name of the queen. But instead, they try to dig up any dirt that they can to disparage Meghan and the collection. This collection is capable of doing so much good for so many people. You would hope, that someone would say, okay, enough is enough. Let's just make sure that these things get to the women who need it, the women who want to start a new career. But just like with the Hub Kitchen, it doesn't matter how great something is and how many people are served by it. If it makes for a salacious reading, if it can destroy someone's character, and that is what those people that work for the tabloid, that's what they do for a living. That is what they do for a living, is destroy, undermine, and they have no conscience about it whatsoever. Yeah. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. What an awful person to be, or people to be. Now, you may know who these people are. Some of them are much older than you might think they are. There's a show on called Loose Women, but about 200, 300 years ago, or a millennium ago, they were called the Gruesome Women. And they have been on television since Pangea. They have been on television since you could walk from Asia to the Americas. I mean, people were still walking across the Bering Straits when these women went on television. They have been on television so long, there really wasn't much history at that time. Yeah, I mean, they have been on television so long. I think that there was no New Testament when they first appeared on television. That's how long they've been on. They have been on television so long, and they weren't speaking English back in those days. They were speaking Aramaic. Yeah. And then they switched over to Latin. And then from Latin, they started speaking English. That's how long they have been on TV. And they don't need much oxygen. Just like reptiles, they can actually submerge themselves for hours, only rising to the surface on occasion just to take a little gulp of air, and then they disappear again. So they're gruesome. They're gruesome. And anyway, let me. And then, of course, that one right there, I can't stand that one. Oh, that one right there gets on my nerves. I don't know what her name is, but she looks awfully familiar, doesn't she? She looks awfully familiar. As a matter of fact, I think I know who she is. She tries to disguise herself. She pulls her hair up and she puts a little rubber band on it so that she won't look like her usual self on television. But yeah, she is the Grinch. Yes, that wench is the Grinch. The Grinch that's been on television too long. Anyway, where was I going with this? One of our favorite people was on the show. Denise Welch. Denise Welch, one of our favorite people and a defender of the Sussexes, if there have ever been one. She actually, I don't know when this one aired. I don't remember when this one aired. So it may be new, maybe not. I've never seen it before, so I'm going to share it with you. But yeah, I don't know how recent it was, but I've only just found it. So, okay. Cue Denise. Or should I say cue the gaslighting, because there's about to be some gaslighting here.
Mum's funeral, he was aware that whatever Meghan's been through with the press and the royal family, she's had Harry, who, whatever people say, clearly loves her. Diana had nobody, right? And you know, you went on many royal visits with her, so I'm always quite surprised that you're.
Diana was a lot more of a smarter cookie than you're giving her credit for.
But I just think that she went through a lot with the royal family, and I think there's a light being shone on behaviours which have to change. And when you are that age and being made to walk behind a coffin, when you know your dad has been unfaithful to your mother, and I've been unfaithful myself, so there's no point you on Twitter going, oh, you know, you're being a hypocrite. It's not about the infidelity.
No, but when you read about that stuff in public, that is hurtful. It's not, you know, we're not saying.
Why shouldn't Harry say his piece, Jane? I think he's had to move away from a family that has they've done it behind his back.
He's using it to make money.
Talk to me about interrupting.
He's making money from it.
Right. The fact is, well, the royal family make quite a bit of money, Jane, themselves, okay? So the fact is that they have been leaking stories, and we know they have. And as soon as Harry and Meghan was seen as the people's princess, that was game over, because William and Kate have to remain in those positions. Okay. And Meghan was in those rooms way before the royal family. She was on the global stage of charities and everything. She didn't do that just when she got married to Harry. So I think, do what you like, tell your story, because I think it's been absolutely
That's the word according to Denise. There we go.
Okay, now let's review. I'm going to do that again.
Had the whole thing from his mum's funeral. He was aware that whatever Meghan's been through with the press and the royal family, she's had Harry, who, whatever people say, clearly loves her. Diana had nobody, right? And you know, you went on many royal visits with her, so I'm always quite surprised that
Diana was a lot.
So she tells Jane that you know what Diana's been through, and you know this because you've been on many royal visits with her. And of course, Jane quickly has to shut her down by saying, well, Diana was a much smarter, well, you can hear her.
More of a smarter cookie than you're giving her credit.
So when she says Diana was a much smarter cookie than you give her credit for, that is, if she had more time, she would explain how Diana was trying to manipulate the press, how Diana was so cunning and so slick and so worldly that whatever she did, she had it coming. Whatever happened to her is because of Diana. Nobody else's fault. That's what she's trying to say.
But I just think that she went through a lot with the royal family, and I think there's a light being shone on behaviours which have to change. And when you are that age and being made to walk behind a coffin, when you know your dad has been unfaithful to your mother, and I've been unfaithful myself, so we know.
And of course, we know that's the one that's wearing blue. And if you don't know who the blue one is, it's this one. The one that's wearing blue. You know, I love the Queen. I love the Queen. That's who that is. She sits there just like a reptile, just like a apex predator of a swamp. She lying in wait, waiting for something to swim by or something to create a ripple in the pond. And then she leaps out of the water, locks her teeth down on whatever prey is available, and then she goes into that death roll. You know how the alligators start spinning and rolling and ripping off limbs, and that's what she does. So I love the Queen. Ooh, I can't stand her. You know I can't stand her.
There's no point you on Twitter going, oh, you know, you're being a hypocrite. It's not about the infidelity.
No, but when you read about that stuff in public, that is hurtful. It's not, you know, we're not saying
why
that
shouldn't Harry?
So when you read about that stuff in public, Jane says, Jane is the one with the black and white on, it's hurtful. Well, when people leak about you and your wife when someone has accused your wife of being a bully, in spite of the fact, it would be easier to name the day that someone in the royal family has not yelled or bullied a staff person, as opposed to making up a story about Meghan being a bully, right? So she's saying that it hurts the royal family that they would read something like that. Well, the royal family lied and called Meghan a bully. The royal family has conspired to drive the Sussexes out of the United Kingdom, let's say Kensington Palace. And who was the Lord of Kensington Palace? William. William allowed his staff to abuse the Sussexes. And that is when he wasn't doing it himself. Okay, let us continue.
To say his piece, Jane. I think he's had to move away from a family that has they've done it behind his back.
He's using it to make money.
He's using it to make money. So that's the other talking point. So all of the trolls, the royal reporters, all of those people, they have the talking points. And so they feel as though that is the biggest weakness that they can find in anything Harry says or does concerning a book or the docuseries, is he's doing it for the money. So Denise says,
about interrupting.
He's making money from it.
First, she says, what about the interrupting? We talked about that.
Right. The fact is, well, the royal family make quite a bit of money, Jane, themselves, okay?
Jane is sitting there with her mouth gaped open. You see, look at the top center photo. She's sitting there with her mouth gapped open, waiting for some place where she can insert a distraction so that she can throw the conversation off. They invite Denise on. Denise is paid to be there, I'm sure, and yet they are fully loaded. They have cocked the hammer back, and they are going to shoot all of these talking points out to try to distract from what Denise is saying. They never let anybody get their words out, which is why they don't invite Dr. Shola on anymore, because she won't stand for it. They don't like people to say anything favorable about the Sussexes. It is like Denise versus those two fossils. And of course, Brenda never says much, especially when the Sussexes are involved. But, she's got to protect her job. So I'm not coming for her. Plus, it doesn't matter because the other two will do most of the talking anyway if it's about the Sussexes.
So the fact is that they have been leaking stories, and we know they have. And as soon as Harry and Meghan, as soon as Meghan was seen as the people's princess, that was game over, because William and Kate have to remain in those positions. Okay. And Meghan was in those rooms way before the royal family. She was on the global stage at charities and everything. She didn't do that just when she got married to Harry. So I think, do what you like, tell your story, because I think it's been absolutely
and poor Denise, she gets very emotional about this topic. She gets very, very emotional, and she can barely get the words out. It is a constant interruption. Now, this ghost of Marilyn Miglin, you see this lady? I don't know who she is, but she looks like the ghost of Marilyn Miglin. If you know, you know. But she looks like the ghost of Marilyn Miglin. She's another one who was saying the most asinine, the most stupidest things. Of course, she kept interrupting Denise, and then she would say something, because, they sit there with a piece of paper, a lot of them, and they have their talking points right there on the paper like they're in a debate class. And Denise, at a certain point, had gotten so frustrated that she just put her hands over her face. This was like another one of her appearances. So I admire Denise for what she does and what she stands for, especially where the Sussexes are concerned. But it is not easy. Even if you are being paid, and I assume she is, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's like you're fighting for your breath, for your next breath, when you're dealing with these two trained assassins sitting on either side of her. And Brenda could be there or not be there, but she doesn't lend much to the conversation when it has to do with Harry and Meghan. But she has to be there because, you know, and I hate to say this, but it's very important that they maintain the appearance of equality, that they maintain the appearance of what do you call it, diversity, right? Because they're supposed to be like the poor man's view. So it's very important that they maintain appearances by allowing people to, you know, so if you just say, oh, well, these are just a bunch of old white women that are trying to say that there's no racism and all that stuff, but then they could always say, well, Brenda's there, so they can't be racist. Oh, so anyway, that is yet another one of those loose women things. So let me see. Okay. Oh, Rachel Marara has asked that you sing happy birthday to her. Of course I'm up to it. I'm just amazed that somebody's birthday is Christmas Eve. Well, I don't, okay. I mean, you got to be born someday, right? I just feel sorry for the kids that are born on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, because it's just like, you know, this is your birthday and your Christmas gift. So not that the gift is the most important thing. The real important thing is being with the family. But anyway, let's take it from the top, shall we? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to yes. Happy birthday to you. And thank you for the super chat, Lydia. Okay. Oh, wow. I'm missing a lot of comments here, right? Let me see here. Mary H says, when Princess Meghan's name comes up in conversation about anything, white women of a certain age go insane. No reasoning with them. Yeah, you know, as long as they have the cover, and this, of course, is the MAGA women, and this is, of course, the Brexit women. MAGA and Brexit go hand in hand. If there's anyone that is for the Tories or for the Republicans, if you are a Republican or a Tory, I really don't care. That's just how I feel about it. But if you're for the Tories or the Republicans, given your geographic location, you may even be for both. If you support those parties and you support their policies that actually are actually making people poor, that are keeping people's pay frozen in time, policies. Do you know how many times the Republicans have voted against universal health care in the United States? And right now, the Tories are deliberately crashing the NHS. They want the NHS to go away, and they want it to be privatized. And yet, out of the fear of brown people, out of the fear of migrants or immigrants, you will vote for those policies to try to keep brown people away. And the truth is, I'm going to tell you guys, as much as they are beating their chests here in the US about people crossing that border, I want to see the person who's going to sit in the machine gun nest. I want to see the person who's going to man the sniper rifle to keep people away. I want to see that person, because the people are going to keep coming. Whether it's a few people or whether there's a lot of people, they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming to the UK. They're going to keep flooding into continental Europe. And the reason why they're coming is because of the policies of these wealthy nations stripping their wealth and making them poor, financing war, and also climate change. Those are the three things that are driving people north. And until they change that, they're going to keep coming. So keep voting for those people that you think are going to make you safe, but they're going to make you poor, and they're going to make sure that when you need health care, it won't be available. So if anybody's triggered by what I just said, I really don't care. But that is the truth. Keep voting for those Tories. Keep voting for those Republicans here in the U.S., and you are going to be poor and in need of health care, and none of that is going to be there for you. So that is how I feel about it. And Meghan and Harry are just a casualty of the culture war. To distract from everything else, they have to attack the Sussexes, among other people. There's a handful of people. Kamala Harris is another lightning rod. Oprah is a lightning rod. Anybody of color is primed for attack. So they keep saying it's not racist, but if it's not race, then what is it? It's just like with Obama. If it wasn't his race, then what was all of that about? What was all of that about? Somebody risked their political future to make sure people have health care, and they considered him a traitor to the country. That's how racism works. You can do everything for people, and they will still other you. So that's where the talking points that they use on the loose women. That's the basis of it. It is the right wing talking points. Very sad. Very sad. They're not educating people. They're only making people more ignorant. They are helping people keep themselves down. Black Queen, thanks for your unwavering support of Harry and Meghan and all things good. You truly bring us daily joy and comic relief, a welcome relief from the scurrying, unrelenting demons. Boundless blessings to you and yours during these holiday seasons. Thank you so much, Black Queen. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the very, very generous super sticker. And thank you for being a warrior out here on these social media streets. It's not just me, of course. It is a team effort, and we have been pushing back. And it's not easy to push back against those voices, but we've been doing it, and we have been very successful at keeping these monsters at bay. Because if it wasn't for the Sussex Squad, things would be so unhinged and so much worse. So thank you so much. And as always, thank you for trusting me to do this work. That means a lot to me. Every vote of confidence, every consideration, every like, share, subscription, all of it means a lot, because it lets me know that I'm doing something right. And that is the whole point of it. So really, really appreciate that. And now, dedicated to you. Let me get this one going. Right on. Well. I won't say the name, but TC just sent me a Cash App, and it was very impressive. You might even say that it's equal to that of Black Queen. So wow, back to back. Thank you very much for that. Greatly appreciated. Wow, that takes my breath away. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever got a Cash App from this person, but thank you so much. You see there? You never know who's listening, but thank you. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Rosh Hashanah, and whatever else is happening right now. Is it Ramadan? You know what a heathen I am. Is it Ramadan? Oh, boy, I tell you. I'm going to go to church one of these days. Hopefully I won't be carried in. Let me see. If I had to watch another one of those Vincent Price horror movies on Christmas Day, I'd definitely die. My husband's idea helped me get out of this situation. He likes Vincent Price horror movies? Well, that weird horror movie that I like is the one where Vincent Price takes revenge on his wife's death. Do you remember that movie? I don't know what the name of that movie was, but it's like he got revenge on all of the people that had something to do with his wife's death. And then in the end, it had that very weird ending. But I remember as a kid, I watched that movie. I think I'd like to see it again because, when they would show that on television, on those, local stations, they would cut so much of the movie to squeeze in more more commercials. So I'd like to see it again because there's a lot of those movies that we watched as kids, those old movies that they would play on television, and you don't realize how much of the movie has been cut away so that the salespeople could get more commercials into those movies. So think about it. If there's an old movie you like, go back and watch it again because you may have missed so much that was cut away from the original film just for the sake of commercials. Okay. Let me see. Saw Roland Martin speak on Pissface Morgan, and he dares him to open his mouth about him and put him in his place when they both worked at CNN. Woo! Oh, yeah, I forgot they both worked at CNN. I forgot about that. Oh, is that right? On Sky News tonight, teacher telling the story of in-school class project using cut potatoes to create art. One of the students asked to take the cut up bits home because they didn't have food. Oh my God, that's awful. That is awful. And God bless that kid for thinking about his family. Yeah, you see there? You never know what someone is going through. You never know. Wow. Oh, that makes my stomach hurt. That really is a punch in the gut. But thanks for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. It's a reminder to us all that you can't really know what's happening behind closed doors. And in a classroom setting like that, that had to be a very eye-opening thing for that teacher. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. Let's see. Lydia Avicus, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy holidays to you. So let me see. I think I was through with that. Let's get on to Spare. Spare is ending the year nicely, of course. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Times are tough for indie bookshops, but the books themselves still bring untold joy. Well, guess who helped save a lot of people from financial ruin with their book? Prince Harry. Now, I only took this one paragraph from the much longer story because I just wanted to talk about Harry. The other challenge is there's a lack of must-buy titles. Last year, Prince Harry's Spare was a sales juggernaut. These sales were predominantly from Amazon, the supermarkets, and Waterstones. But even for independent bookshops, the book's watercooler status drove more people into the stores. This year, there were nothing that comes close to Rory Stewart's Politics on the Edge has proven one of the most popular books of the autumn in our shop, and Barbara Kingsolver's Demons Copperhead continues to sell well, but they're not talked about by the general public. They're selling to the converted. So just in case you're not familiar with that term, water cooler, in corporate America, people would stand around the water cooler at work, right? And I know most of you guys know what that means, but for those who don't know what it means, the water cooler is a way of saying, like, that little gathering, that common place. So at some point during the day, you're going to go over to the water cooler, that big jug on top of the little refrigerated thing, and you're going to go and you get some water. And while you're there, you're going to say, hey, did you see I Love Lucy last night? Did you see the Jeffersons last night? Did you see anything last night? Or did you read that book Spare? What do you think about Spare? So that is a water cooler conversation. And that's where that comes from. So, and so obviously, as you know, there's been a lot of people that whenever you get people together, they seem to have an opinion about that book Spare, even though most people have not read it. But a lot of people have. So, and a lot of people have, like, if you remember earlier in the year, they said that one of the most discarded books on vacation was Spare. Well, that was supposed to be a slight to Harry. That was supposed to be an insult to Harry. But the truth is, so many people purchased the book and took the book on vacation. So many people purchased the book from the airport bookstore that while on vacation, they read the book and they left it for someone else to read. Stuff like that happens all the time. Well, I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to take a few more souvenirs. That is not a slight to Harry. That's not an insult. If anything, it's a major compliment that your book is so successful that it's one of the most coveted books to take on vacation or holiday. So even though they tried to make something negative out of it, we know better. We know better. Again, such is the strength of the Sussex squad, because fortunately, to the untrained ear, it may sound like one thing, but at least there are people who have their social media spaces that could. And by the way, Claire Kane's not here tonight. I was watching Claire Kane earlier, and Claire Kane did an amazing like year-end video where she featured a lot of the TikTokers. And I keep saying all the time, the TikTokers are very valuable allies in this struggle against the British tabloid media, against that reptilian inbred reptilian vertebrate ice water blooded people. Very, very important. And so she featured quite a few of the TikTokers, I believe. And it was very interesting because you don't always know how many people get it, right? But more people get it than we realize, and more young people get it, which is reassuring, because the more you have people speaking about these grave injustices that have happened, the more people will have an alternative to the narrative that they have been feeding us over and over again. That is very important. You really can't put a value on that. So, thank goodness that there are people that are doing that. And Claire Kane had a nice video today. So I'm going to put it at the top of the chat. Thank you, Lydia. I just pinned it to the top of the chat. So if you're not subscribed to Claire Kane, make sure you do that while you're over there. But yeah, it's a great video, and it's a great way to sum up everything that has happened this year. So along with the TikTokers, she also took us through the Sussex's year in chronological order, which was also brilliant. So check it out. And while you're there, please like, subscribe, and share. Okay. Okay, and thank you too. Church Nelly has also featured Claire Kane's link. So again, the link is at the top of the chat. You can just click on it anytime you like. But yeah, very brilliant video today. Okay, and so right here, booksellers at the heart of the book trade since 1858. So bookseller, that's what they talk about, is books, and more books. Well, I put in spare, and it looks like if this is the actual, this is what comes up on their page when you put spare. So they've had what? Looks like they've had 9 articles about spare. Spare Zoom project racks up 300 introductions within 3 months. What does that mean? I have no idea, but let me check it out. Hold on, I can barely see that. Okay, the Spare Zoom project, the online adaptation of Spare Room project, supporting book trade interns and jobs applicants from outside London, has made 320 introductions between job seekers and, okay, I don't know if that's about the book though. Well, let me try this one then. Bluebird Hockey Raven Spare. Nope, not that one, but this one, the third one for sure. Abacus signed Spare Us, a parody by a 5 Brexit Island author, Vincent. So I think that is a parody book. And then digital bestseller list, Spare doubles up for ebook. So Prince Harry's Spare tops the ebook charts as Anne Cleves, The Sleeping with the Dead rises. So yeah, that was part of it. And then Society of Young Publishers relaunched Spare Room project. Again, I don't think that's about the book. And then again, Spare, let me see, Prince Harry memoir, Spare confirms the 10th January. Okay, I think that's when they were saying that they confirmed that the book would be coming out, I think. Anyway, ITV to broadcast Prince Harry's first TV interview for Spare on the 8th of January. And lastly, digital booksellers list audio eclipse ebooks for Spare. Prince Harry's Spare tops the Bookstat ebook chart. So anyway, that is, I think only half of that was about the book, but and right here, 10 most popular library books of the year. List of year's highest circulating ebooks at the 16,000 libraries in North America. So, of the ebooks at 16,000 libraries in North America, the data suggests that if Prince Harry and Colleen Hoover, that is, ever made a book together, it would be the library baby of the century. Oh. I'm sorry, the literary baby of the century. What am I saying, library? The literary baby of the century. Oh, you know what? I have to do this. There it is. It's at the top there. It would be the literary baby of the century. No, that's an interesting way to put it. You know, I think some of those people at libraries don't get out enough. What do you think? They kind of get a little posh with the way they describe things. But anyway, I'm always up to celebrating the success of Spare. You know that. And again, Spare, the fastest selling, the best selling nonfiction book in history. The best selling nonfiction book in history. I don't think we say that enough. One more time. The best selling nonfiction book in history. Not just this year, not just the past 10 years, but ever the best-selling book. It outsold Barack Obama's book. That's how well it was doing. Michelle Obama's book was also very popular. It just goes to show that the book was very well written. And Harry says, those are my words and my words alone. Yes, there was a ghostwriter, but it is my words. So I like it. I like it. I am here for it. Go Harry. Now, I have another soundbite. So I played this yesterday, but this one is kind of a different, I think it starts earlier than the one yesterday, or maybe I missed it. But you all know that, okay. I hate to do this, but I just have to. You all know that I made this picture because when I heard about what happened, I thought about a movie. Instantly, it reminded me of a movie. The calls are coming from inside the house, right? That was a movie called When a Stranger Calls. And so I started saying that on Royal Sussex. And then next thing you know, every time you turn around, someone is saying it. Now, to be fair, I did not invent that. It was from the 1970s from that movie. But it kind of had a second life because of Dan Wooten. And it's just amazing because every so often I will hear it and I'm just like, either somebody is watching Royal Sussex or this is an incredible coincidence. So I'm going to play it. I don't know. You may have heard it yesterday and I didn't, but I thought I played the same thing, but maybe I did not. So anyway, I'll let you hear it for yourself.
No return for Harry and Meghan as it pertains to Harry's family.
Yeah, I think that point of no return was quite early on, actually. I talk about this in the book where when Harry realizes that the calls are coming from inside the house, you know, when he realizes that it's the people on his brother's team who are responsible for some of the most negative and damaging stories about them entering the public domain, And so then you realize, well, no one has my back in this situation. It's almost like the only result of staying within that is to completely fall, to come out of it so bruised and battered that there's nothing left for you. And I think that was when they started to explore the possibilities of, like, do they move to Southern Africa and are they based out there for a while? Or do they start a life in Canada and do this half in, half out scenario that they wanted to, that they ran by the Queen at one point? And ultimately, this was because they didn't want to disrespect the Queen. So it was only when the institution said to them, like, you know what, like, it's either here or the highway, they took the highway. And unfortunately, since then, there has been no real, like, repair or movement in the right direction.
Yeah. What was the point of no return for Harry and Meghan as it pertains to Harry's family?
Yeah, I think that point of no return was quite early on, actually. They talk about this in the book, where when Harry realizes that the calls are coming from inside the house.
Now, okay, I y'all know Omid Scobie is not old enough to know that term when the calls are coming from inside the house. So I'm thinking Omid Scobie has been watching Royal Sussex. I think quite a few of them have been watching Royal Sussex. I'm just saying. I mean, it would be cool if they were, but but every time I hear somebody say that, I'm just like, but they've been watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, anyway. So that's just me being big-headed for a change. But I promise you, Omid Scobie ain't old enough to know that phrase. Yes, thank you, Bunny Rose. They've been watching Royal Sussex. Okay. You know what? I'm almost afraid to look because I think the sales of Endgame may have been damaged a bit with that massive attack from the tabloid media, because the book really needed to do well in the UK. Omid Scobie is not a household name in the US. That being said, I hope that, and I'm also wondering if the palace did anything to block Omid from being more available for American television. They will do that. They probably did something to try to keep Omid Scobie off of American television. So I think that was a bit of an impact as well. So I don't know how well the book is doing. I'm hoping it's doing extremely well. And also I hear that it's quite popular for the, listening for the audio book. I hear it's quite popular with the audiobooks. I think the audiobook sales has been a lot stronger than expected compared to the actual book itself. So, but yeah, I hope and I pray that the book does extremely well. I hope it has a resurgence. And if somebody options the book to make a movie out of it, then it would really do well. But I don't see that happening because I think people are going to assume that The Crown covered more than what it actually has. So, yeah. Reba Henderson, Omid has had to leave the UK because of the threats that he has received. Yeah, I think they did quite a hatchet job on the book in the UK. Quite a hatchet job. So I don't think the book is doing as well as expected. And that whole thing about the, what do you call it? Well, I mean, it was a masterclass of propaganda. The whole thing with Kate and the baby's skin color and all that kind of stuff. It seems to have, in the short term, it seems to have helped the royal family, but long term, if you've seen what I've seen on TikTok, if you've seen what I've seen in other places on social media where people are referring to the racist royal family, I don't think that it's helping as much as they suspect. They may be winning the headlines of the tabloids, but the whole war of perception, I think the royal family is wounded. I think they are gravely wounded by these allegations of racism. And we need only see them take another tour, that is, Will and Kate take another tour of the Commonwealth, which is probably a reason why they're not doing it, is because they're not wanted. They're not wanted in Australia. I don't know what would happen when they go to Canada, but they will definitely have to manage events in order to save face. They're going to have to manage their time whenever they do travel abroad, which is probably why William said that he wants to take a big step away from the Commonwealth, because he knows he's not popular. And imagine that. Imagine that. William says, he had the 5 things that, was it 5? The 5 things that he wanted to do when he becomes king. And the Commonwealth, it sounds like he wants to unload the Commonwealth or to abandon it. And there hasn't been any pushback. There has been little, if any, pushback. That's interesting. Let me see. Willie Pegg is such a huge disgrace. All he is outstanding at is being incandescent with rage at his awesome brother and even his more awesome sister-in-law, and pegging rose bushes. Let me see. Helen, the media coverage was unhinged. I've never, I don't, I'm going to say that the media coverage of Spare was probably much worse than Endgame. But Endgame, I think they went so far to make Kate a victim, and that created a huge backlash for the book. Plus, they have been working on undermining Omid Scobie for a long time, with all the names that they have called him and such. They have been trying to, I guess, degrade him to the point where people get this visceral reaction every time his name is mentioned. They have cast him as the foreigner, he's seen as a other, and that's not helping his case. So, yeah, they did a job on him. They definitely did a job on Omid Scobie, and I hate that, because he put a lot into the book, and the book was enlightening. There's a lot of things that we know, but there's a lot of sharper focus on things that we know. And then there's the few things that we didn't know. But he confirms a lot of things. And some of the things that he confirmed, the palace hasn't pushed back. So we know that it's likely the truth. But instead, to distract from everything else in the book, he's picking on Kate Middleton. He shouldn't talk about Kate Middleton, right? Meghan told him to write the book, and the book was written with Meghan and Harry. So all of that distracted from the other things that was in the book, that they didn't want people to take notice of. So I would say that it's so far the royal family seems to have gotten away with it in the short term. Hopefully, I'm sorry. Hopefully, his next book will have other subjects for content. Maybe he can bounce back in the UK. I hope so. But it might be time to relocate because, you know how they are with their vendettas in the UK. They don't tend to let up, and that is his home. And I'm sure he'd rather be there than any place else in the world. But other people have gotten out of there because of the class system, because of the volatile media. There's a lot of people that have left. Ed Sheeran pretty much stays, but Adele was like, I'm out of here. And there's a lot of people that just did not want to they didn't want to have to try to exist within that system where, no matter how hard you work, if you're not an if you're not an aristocrat, if you're not one of the chosen ones, then you don't matter. And as an African American, I can understand that because, that awful joke, what do you call a black doctor? What do you call a black rocket scientist? What do you call a black anybody? And it's always reduced to something disgusting. And for a lot of high achievers in the UK, the only way that you're recognized as a high achiever, it's not based on your business success. It's not based on the amount of money you have. It's based on whether or not you're an OBE or an MBE or whatever those alphabets are. That seems to be the only way that you can climb the social ladder, is to be recognized by that institution. Now, I may have that wrong because I don't live there and I don't know, but if that's remotely close to the truth, let me know. But it seems to me that unless you are recognized by that institution or by the, you don't seem to matter. You have to have those letters behind your name. Here in the US, hard work, that's it. Hard work. You don't have to be a nice person, but hard work. So again, when a stranger calls, the calls are coming from inside the house. And the inspiration, of course, was this. Dan Wooten launches a tirade against the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's much easier for them to blame anything uncomfortable on racism rather than address the fact that the negativity toward them is coming from within the royal family. The negativity is coming from within the royal family. He told on himself. And when he said that, he was confirming, where is that at? When he said that, this is what he was confirming. He was confirming that in plain sight, the picture the palace probe missed. In other words, when he said the calls are coming from inside the house, he is talking about his relationship with Christian Jones. And one of those faces that's blurred out is Christian Jones' partner. And between Dan Wooten, Christian Jones, and his partner, it has been alleged that there has been money that has been exchanged for information, like the Sussexes leaving the United Kingdom. Instead of them having the time to complete a draft that they could, drafting a statement that they could read or distribute, instead, they were given 10 days to tell the world, or I will tell them for you. Now that came from Dan Wooten. And where did he get the information? Well, the likelihood is Christian Jones and his partner, who cannot be named for legal reasons. Wow. Just wow. Helen said in the UK, especially in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, there was a saying, no blacks, no Irish, no dogs, still exist in some extent. Yeah. They had the signs, right? Didn't they have signs like that? And of course, there was a time when the Irish were not very welcomed in the US. The Irish, the Italians, a lot of the ethnic groups, when they first came to the US, the only place that they could find allies was the black community. But as they became more socially acceptable, a lot of them kind of forgot about the help and the the generosity that they received from the black community. They kind of forgot who helped them when they first got here. But as they became more politically aware of themselves, then they didn't need us so much. They were able to blend into the greater society. But at first, unless you were a Protestant, unless you were white and a Protestant, you didn't matter. B. Martin says, Baron, OBE, MBE, and still not invited to the party unless needed. What is that one? I'm not sure what that one is, but just saying. Okay. I'm like, is that another one? I don't know what it is. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, from the outside looking in, that's the way I see it. Now, of course, I don't know the ins and out of the social classes. I only know what I see from afar, but it just seems to me, unless you're one of those people, unless they calling you dame this and sir that, you don't seem to matter as much. You know, I don't know if they ever changed this, but when I flew British Airways, they wanted to know what the prefix of my name was. They wanted to know if I had a title. They wanted to know. I don't know if any other airline does that, but British Airways wants to know if you have a title. Now, unless that changed, I'm not sure, but BA asked for your title. How about that? So that I guess they can address you properly. I've never seen that before. I've never booked a ticket that asked me if I was Sir this or Lord that or whatever it asked for. That was shocking. Okay, let's move on. The calls are coming from inside your wig. The calls are coming from inside your wig. Yes, I think that the calls are not only coming from inside of the house, but I think there's a strong likelihood that some of those calls are coming from inside of Nana's wig. As a matter of fact, I think the Donner Party may have actually have been lost inside of Nana's wig. I think that, let me see, I think you may find, I think Amelia Earhart might be inside of Nana's wig. You think? I think if you start pulling back the layers of whose ever hair that is, you will find Amelia Earhart. You will find who else? The Donner Party. You will find the lost civilization of remember the lost people of Roanoke, Virginia? Remember those people came to settle in America and they have never been seen? The lost city of Roanoke. Well, I think not only will you find Roanoke, you will find what do you call it? You will find the Donner Party, Amelia Earhart, and probably a few other things that have been missing, like the Amber Room. Now, during the Second World War, the Germans actually went into St. Petersburg and they stole the Amber Room. I bet you somewhere in those locks of Nana's hair is the Amber Room. There are so many lost treasures. That is the Bermuda Triangle of hair. Yeah, you don't want to get too close to it. Whole civilizations may be hidden in that wig, and we just don't know it. That's why she's never too far away from it, lest they should escape. You know, Legs, I was hesitating for that one. Trust me, I wanted to say it, but I'm just like, I don't want to go too far. But that just goes to show how connected we are. I wanted to say that, but I'm just like, you noticed I had a little bit of a pause a minute ago, right? I'm like, no, I can't say that one. But since you said it, I don't have to. I get to maintain the high moral ground. Oh, yeah, you know, maybe there's a program that they have at the palace. When Kate has finished with her wigs, they go to a needy wig wearer somewhere, and maybe that's where they come from. Maybe they sent all of her old locks down to what is it, GBN? And then when she comes into work, Nana's like, I'll have that. I'll have that. Oh, Meghan and Harry. I like how she sounds so like over Harry and Meghan, but yet she won't stop talking about them. Anyway, so, and of course, because there is so many people that have so much to say about Harry and Meghan, one of the things that I think we have discovered this year is that there are so many burner accounts. There's Maureen. There's let me see. I forgot what. Oh gosh, what was that Dan Wooten? I forgot the other name that Dan Wooten used, but we know that they have burner accounts, and even Robert Jolson has a burner account. They are so triggered by the Sussexes, but the Sussex Squad Detective Agency on numerous occasions have found out about the burner accounts. Now, this wretched toad right here, this is one of the people I cannot stand. I mean, to tell you, this old queen gives me gas. This old queen gives me gas. Nicholas Witchell is a provocateur. He is one of the most dreadful human beings that has ever drawn a breath, I promise you. And I cannot stand this person. Lex says, let me see, sister of the traveling wig is the inside source. Thank you for that, Lex. Sister of the traveling wigs. But yeah, so let me see. I don't know if you can see that, but let me take a look here. So it says here, BBC royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell says Meghan should have been less impatient with royal aides who bent over backwards to support her, and dismisses Oprah interview claims, saying race wasn't a significant factor in decision to leave UK. It wasn't a significant factor, but it was a factor, right? It was a factor. I guess if you're an older white man who has been working in television for the BBC all these years, of course you can afford to say that it was not significant. You don't feel the pressure of it because, well, you're not black. BBC royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell has claimed Meghan should have been less impatient with the royal aides who bent over backwards to support her. Well, I could imagine Kristen Jones bent over backwards. I could imagine Jason Knopf bent over backwards, but who they were bending over for, I don't know. I will leave that to your imagination. They may have been bending over backwards, but I want to know who they were bending for and what did they get out of it. B. Martim says, corner story. I'm sticking to it. So you think she just went down to the local corner store, just had them reach behind that counter and pass her that hair? Huh? I'll have that. Right. I'll have that. Thank you so much for the super chat. So if you take a look here, I'm only using like 3 of the paragraphs, 2 of the paragraphs. Right there, BBC royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell has claimed Meghan should have been less impatient with the royal aides who bent over backwards to support her. The veteran broadcaster, who is 70 years old, also dismissed the claims made in Harry and Meghan's 2021 Oprah Winfrey interview, arguing race was not a significant factor in their decision to leave the UK for California almost 4 years ago. He rejected the idea that the palace was against them from the start and praised the Sussex team of courtiers, which included Australian Private Secretary Samantha the Panther Cohen and American Communications Secretary Jason Knopf and Sarah Latham. So let me just say this. The fact that they're telling you that these are non-British people is so that it would make it seem as though they would likely be more fair to the Sussexes, right? Or more fair to Meghan, right? The thing is, that still don't make them nice people. That doesn't mean that they were nice people. That just means that they were from someplace else. But their loyalty was to William. William, the senior most royal at Kensington Palace. Out of the 4 senior royals, Harry, Meghan, William, and his person, William is the grand poobah. He is the last word. So they really did not work for Harry and Meghan. If anything, they were working against Harry and Meghan. And then if that's not enough, take a look at the top. But royal correspondent heaped praise on Prince William and Princess Kate, who he said have a good image and read the public mood well by focusing areas such as homelessness and the environment and mental health. How many times are we going to see someone like a Nicholas Witchell who is going to question and undermine everything that the Sussexes have experienced since it was announced that they were dating or revealed that they were dating, only to heap praise upon the other two? It is the constant Coke versus Pepsi, good versus evil, Meghan versus Kate, Harry versus William. By assigning a team, you are forced to choose. That's it, and that's all. This article does not do anything but elevate Will and Kate. That is the whole point of it. Clickbait by throwing Harry and Meghan into it and elevating Will and Kate. They want you to walk away with a positive reinforcement where Will and Kate is concerned. And as usual, you are also supposed to walk away disgusted at the Sussexes for being so impetuous and impatient. That is the whole point of it. They don't even try to hide their disdain. It's out there for everyone to see. So I'm going to play this soundbite for you. Now, here's a warning. This soundbite is very uncomfortable to listen to. I'm going to let you listen to it a couple of times. This soundbite, if this was an art piece, I would call it, what would I call it? I would call it, let me see, what would be a good name for it? Perplexed old man. That's what I would call it. The perplexed old man. I'm being polite when I say that. But anyway, let me play it for you. This is Nicholas Witchell trying to acknowledge the birth of a mixed race child in the royal family. And it doesn't get easy. I want you to take a listen to it.
Their son, baby Sussex, no name for him so far, the first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family. Now, we know, of course, that, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. The first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family, and it is certain, of course. I'm so sorry. Let me just once again hand back to you, Ben.
All right, Nick. Thank you very much.
Their son, baby Sussex, no name for him so far, the first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family. Now, we know, of course, that, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. The first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family, and it is certain, of course. I'm so sorry. Let me just once again hand back to you, Ben.
All right, Nick. Thank you very much.
Their son, baby Sussex, no name for him so far, the first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family. Now, we know, of course, that, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. The first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family, and it is certain, of course. I'm so sorry. Let me just once again hand back to you, Ben.
All right, Nick. Thank you very much.
Their son, baby Sussex, no name for him so far, the first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family. Now, we know, of course, that, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. The first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family, and it is certain, of course. I'm so sorry. Let me just once again.
This man is stupefied. I'm sorry, the sound quality is awful, but this man is stupefied. Do you hear me? Let me the first let me just hand it back to you in the studio. He could not bring himself to say what it is he was trying not to say. And so one of the squatties posted this on Twitter, and as you can see, they have put in caption what he was probably thinking. He was saying to himself, "Don't say black. It's a wee black baby. No. Up the black baby up the well, you know, I just can't get my words up the well, you know, this is the first Anglo he just didn't know what to say. It was and was that like old English? Was that Old English? Was that English from the Shire? Was that like that Middle Earth English? Because I'm not sure that that was English. That was some English from back in the day. That was some Robin Hood English. Well, and so Royal Sussex reached out to some of our pint-sized young reporters in the field. And as you can see, some of our commentators that we reached out to, they seem to be just as skeptical. Like over here on the left side, little sister girl is not having it, and bruh man is equally perplexed. They're listening to Nicholas Witchell, and they don't seem to grasp what he's trying to say. So that was their reaction when we allowed them to listen to the same thing.
Again, hand back to you, Ben.
All right, Nick, thank you very much.
Their son, baby Sussex, no name for him so far, the first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family. Now, we know, of course, that, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. The first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family, and it is certain, of course. I'm so sorry. Let me just
So we didn't leave it there. We also reached out to a couple of other associates of Royal Sussex for their response, and they were equally perplexed.
Again, hand back to you, Ben.
All right, Nick, thank you very much.
Their son, baby Sussex, no name for him so far, the first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family. Now, we know, of course, that, excuse me, let me just collect my thoughts. The first Anglo-American birth in the British royal family, and it is certain, of course. I'm so sorry. Let me just once again hand back to you, Ben.
All right, Nick, thank you very much.
Their son, baby Sussex.
So as you can see, some of our young commentators are not impressed. They could see right through Nicholas Witchell. They are disgusted just as much as you are, listening to him stammering for his words to describe a blessed event like the birth of Prince Archie. But Nicholas Witchell seems to have, what do they say, the cat's got your tongue, or he seems to have become tongue-tied trying to get the words out just to say that this is making history. He didn't know what to say. He's out of his element. As a matter of fact, he's out of his century. This old fart can not only be 70 years old. He sounds like one of those Edwardians, right? He sounds like someone who grew up with the Queen Mother. I would expect that from like a classmate of the Queen Mother, not a BBC correspondent. So let me just I'm trying to form my words and you see and this is Anglo baby that was, I'm telling you, if you think listening to it was a struggle, you should have watched him squirming. I mean, he was squirming trying to get the words out. And the only thing that I can figure out he said was, well, the Anglo, baby, and back to you. I'm going to hand it back to you at the studio. Yeah, that was difficult. I have watched spinal fusion surgery that was not as disturbing as listening to Nicholas Witchell, right? I have seen someone treated for a gunshot wound that was not as uncomfortable, right? Watch them slaughtering hogs is not as disconcerting as listening to Nicholas Witchell trying to describe the birth of baby Archie. Royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell disgusted that two people want to escape the abuse and crap heaped upon them by British media. Absolutely appalling commentary. So let me tell you something. You see how that eye is all squinted up like that? When Nicholas Witchell is trying to craft his comments, he tends to, you can tell he's about to start BSing because his left eye always starts squinting up like that. That left eye get real tight when he on some BS. Yep, he do that every time he about to talk some BS. That left eye get real tight. He's trying to make sure he got you in sharp focus to see if you believe the nonsense that he's saying. Also, you should know that Nicholas Witchell was one of the models used to create that famous painting called Scream. Years ago, one of the Impressionist paintings was created based on Nicholas Witchell's appearance. And some people say it's because, you know, when you're not expecting him and you glance over and see that face, you scream. Other people say that his face looks like a face that is stuck in mid-scream. So I'll let you decide for yourself. Either way, he's an old fart, and I'm glad he's retired. Now, Meghan Markle, Archie will be spoiled brat due to Prince Harry's royal rift, says expert. So while I was trying to put together the Nicholas Witchell thing, I started looking through my archives and I found this headline. I had forgot all about this, but this is what the Sussexes got away from. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's son Archie Mountbatten. Remember, this was before they decided that he was actually Prince Archie. Let me see. Spoiled brat if he can't knock around with his cousins, Princes George and Louis and Princess Charlotte, according to royal expert Angela Mollard. Well, forget about it. William was so popular when he was a kid. He was so loved by his cousins and his playmates. They loved him so much. You see that scar over his left eye? That's called the 9-iron, because when he wasn't looking, somebody whacked him with a golf club and he had to go for emergency surgery. And that emergency surgery was so scary that Princess Diana stayed at the hospital. Of course, Charles couldn't wait to get the heck out of there. But it was a chance that day that we could be talking about King Harry right now. That's how bad things were. William had to have emergency surgery when he was a kid. So considering that, I would prefer that the Sussex children stay as far away from Salt Island as possible. And I do mean as far as possible, because I'm here to tell you, the pushback that horrible institution has received thus far has been very mild, okay? And it's best we keep it that way. So what I'm trying to say is they don't need to be over there, because if they can't keep William safe, then who is safe? Let me see. Nicholas thinking African-American. Nope, I haven't. I have to include England, Anglo-African, American, African-Anglo. Damn, how do I highlight the blackness? Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look. We'll go back and look at that. So these are the captions that was added by one of the squaddies. When the internal dialogue gets too loud, check. Okay, the internal dialogue gets too loud. African American. Black baby. Let me see. It has to include England. When the I did that one already. Black. Anglo-African American. Okay. And of course, don't say black. Damn, how do I highlight the blackness? It's a wee black baby. Wow, you know what, Legs? That is impressive how you can blend your comment and that comment on the screen is seamless. It's seamless. One complements the other. That is very, very impressive. Ooh, let me see. Baron, the next 007 is Idris Elba in the new movie coming up titled Forever and a Day. They will have a lot to talk about soon. Finally, there will be a black 007. Michael Scott Shannon will star too. Oh, so it's official. Thank you for sharing that. All right, so it's official now. That ought to be interesting. Oh no, Daniel Medical says it's late over here. It's 5 a.m. and I am in bed. Oh, very cool. Thank you so much for staying up with us here on Royal Sussex. I think I'm just about done, though. At least I hope I am, because this has gone over 2 hours and I wasn't expecting that. Let's see that. And Palace Insider Blast Nonsense claimed that Camilla joked how Harry and Meghan's unborn baby will have a ginger afro as Duchess of Cornwall is dragged in royal race row by bombshell biographer. Now, that article came out in July of 2022. I don't know which biographer they're talking about. Let me see. Book claims Camilla allegedly asked Prince Harry if unborn child will have a ginger afro. Duchess allegedly said, asked Camilla, the Duchess allegedly asked Camilla, made a joking comment. Said Camilla made a joking comment during a chat with Harry. Royal sources, here we go, royal sources, speaking to Mail Online said the suggestion is nonsense. You know what? They just wanted to put that in print. They just wanted to put that in print. The clever way of saying ginger afro is to attach it to this story. There was really no logical need to say ginger afro, but the person who wrote this article, Tom Brown, wanted desperately to say ginger afro. And I'm pretty sure that he made a bet with someone. I bet you I can get ginger afro into the, that's probably what it was. Somebody is trying to win a bet. So Carly Fortune had a surreal year. The Toronto author, Meet Me at the Lake, sold. Then Harry and Meghan came calling. On the morning of August, let me do it like this. Let me do it like this so I can see the whole thing. One morning this August, Carly Fortune got a text from a friend. The content of the message were an unexpected interruption to her annual summer vacation. 2 blissful weeks spent on Barry's Bay in Ontario, Cottage County. Think coffee on a withered dock out of novelty mugs, sunset over a mirror flat lake, loons and conifers in equal abundance. The link her friend sent and her location, however, were connected. That's because, unbeknownst to Fortune, news had leaked that her second novel, Meet Me at the Lake, inspired in part by the picture postcard vista she was gazing over, was going to be adapted by Netflix. Exciting news, especially for someone who'd only published her debut the year before, but wasn't exactly the reason outlets for Variety to Us Weekly and the Daily Mail had seized the story. The frenzy was down to the production company behind the rumor, multi-million-dollar purchase of the film rights, Archwell and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex vehicle for bringing their post-royal creative endeavors to the screen. So there, she was actually just minding her own business, and all of a sudden somebody sent her a text message, and she found out that Harry and Meghan has purchased the film rights to her book. The article goes on to say, oh, hold on a second. The article goes on to say, it's a strange thing to see your name and your face out there. I'm so used to being behind the scenes, said Fortune to her Toronto home, straight from the gym and wearing pink sweatshirt by Canadian designer Horses. It was very odd for sure, she said. Anything Meghan and Harry do inevitably attracts attention, positive and negative, and anyone who's vaguely in their orbit can be swept into the circus of it all. Fortune, a former journalist and editor herself, was certainly aware of the pair were under the microscope like no other human beings could possibly comprehend. Her decision was ultimately motivated by the fact she felt they were the best partners to bring her story to the screen. She said, it's really like Archwell and Netflix are going to take such good care of it. I felt like it was right. There was a lot of noise, but I'm pretty good at seeing that for what it is, getting the full tabloid treatment. In other words, the Daily Mail article making often tenuous link between Fortune, Meghan, peppered with image pulled from her Instagram, was mostly just funny in a bizarre way, she said. I don't put much stock in it. I really just feel like it's important for me to tune that stuff out, Fortune said. What matters is the work. And for the curious, she and the Sussexes have spoken. I'm so thrilled that it resonated with them. She said of her story of two people in their 30s who find each other again in cottage country after a magical day they spent together in Toronto in their 20s. I'm excited now that the Hollywood strike is over and we can start moving forward. I just think it is in the best hands. So that's really cool that she feels as though she's sure that the Sussexes are the right fit to bring this book to life. So there you go. That is what happened to Carly Fortune. I like that name, Carly Fortune. It's not just a name, it's what she's expecting. Let me see. Wow, Ark of the Covenant covers your... Are you referring to the Queen Consorts? I thought you would have much more respect for the Queen Consort. You know, I am always showing deference to that old discarded tea bag, and you should too. After all, she's the Queen Consort and worthy of whatever consideration and whatever grace that we can bestow upon her. As a matter of fact, she's worthy of any paper bag or potato sack that we can bestow upon her. I would even say it would be good to find some oversized sunglasses and a burqa that we can bestow upon her. But other than that, you know, what is that they say? Recollections may vary. Reactions may vary. Oh, Well, take a look at that. Have you ever seen the likes of it? Have you ever seen the likes of it? What is that? Well, let me see. Let me find it. It's here somewhere. Okay, so this is the thing. Today, someone shared, where is it? You see that? That was on Jeopardy. And I believe the girl who tried to answer it is a millennial. And when she tried to answer it, she gave it her best shot, but she was wrong. Okay, I'll let you listen.
Laura.
The critics agree.
Yeah, there you go.
The British ogre.
Say again?
British ogre.
No. Anybody else? Laura.
The critics agree.
Yeah.
So the first girl answered the British ogre. The British ogre. And when she said British ogre, through word association, when she said British ogre, this is the first thing I thought of. When she said British ogre, my mind went directly to Boris Johnson. If you said ogre, I would have said Boris Johnson. But when you said British ogre, definitely Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson, if there was a British ogre, which of course, how could that be British if it ends with S? But if there was a British ogre, then Boris Johnson would definitely fit the bill. I mean, that is an ogre. And not only is Boris Johnson an ogre, Boris Johnson also has doubled as they said he was the inspiration for the heat miser on the old claymation Christmas classic. Remember the Christmas classic? Well, Mo Shannon was the first one to bring it to my attention. Mo Shannon said Boris Johnson reminds her of the heat miser from that Christmas thing. And you have to admit the what do you call it? The resemblance is pretty dead on, isn't it? I mean, you look at Boris Johnson and you see heat miser. Now, if you've never seen that before, the heat miser was like the wealthy man who saved all the heat for himself and allowed people to freeze. So they called him the heat miser. And he happens to look like Boris Johnson. That's all. So that was about it. Okay. Ooh, I just moved seats. My butt was starting to hurt. Oh boy, this is more comfortable, I must say. So, let me see. Does look like him though, doesn't it? What is the British ogre? That girl say, what is the British ogre? Boris Johnson. Duchess Meghan gives gift to Dusseldorf residents for Christmas. Shortly before Christmas, the next surprise for the Trevi Cafe, Meghan donated $5,000 which comes out to be 4,600 euros or 4,600 euros. And to establishment through the Archwell Foundation, founded by Harry and her, and also sent several boxes of cosmetic products to Oberlich. So this is yet another magazine. I don't know what the name of the magazine is, but the magazine is a German magazine. So anyway, just wanted you to know that this story has been circulating like crazy. And as I said yesterday, this is the perfect way to end 2023 by being generous and thoughtful to different charities and not-for-profits. So happy Kwanzaa. And I think that's it. Yes, we're done. Happy Kwanzaa to you. Merry Christmas. And don't forget, tomorrow we're going to have some fun stuff on Royal Sussex. And I do thank you all for being here. Thank you all so much for your very thoughtful and kind contributions to Royal Sussex. Thank you again, Judy Matasid, Andrew Bodie, who is doing the Lord's work as we speak, and Lydia Washington, Black Queen, and Lydia Abacus, I hope I'm saying it right, and B. Martin, Legs for the very whimsical and very well thought of comments. And B. Martin again, let me see, Legs again, and Legs, okay. And then also those mystery contributions from the Cash App. Thank you very much for those as well. MR, and I think it was TC and someone else, I think. But thank you all so much for that. Greatly appreciate it. Again, thank you for watching Royal Sussex, and Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Nadal, as they say in Portuguese, right? Feliz Nadal, Feliz Navidad, Merry Christmas, and all those things. Happy holidays. What a pleasure. I'm so glad everybody who could be here was here because, on these holidays, not all of us have a family near. So it is important to make ourselves available for everyone in any way you can, big or small. It is important to make yourself available. So I did a few things that was in the spirit of Christmas. I have at least one charity that I have been maintaining for a couple of years, and I'm so glad for it, and to see how it benefits that particular charity is incredible. So very, very glad for that. And also all of the stuff that the Sussex Squad has done for all of the charities that we have, like Kaboom, and oh my goodness, I'm not even going to try to name anything else at this hour, but yeah, it's such a good thing we could do that, and yeah, all of that stuff. Let me see here. Oh, Volich, curse feeds to you too, and Happy New Year. Is that how you say it in Dutch? Volich, curse feeds. Yep. Thank you very much for that. I was just thinking the same thing, believe it or not. Oh, man. Sharon Augustine, thank you for being here. Well, let me see. Boom, 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 boom. See, I need Church Nelly to help me sing this one. That's where Church Nelly comes in. Dreaming of a white Christmas. Ever since Church Nelly went through the change, she's been able to do the more deeper tones like that. With every Christmas card I write, when the treetops glisten. And of course, I'd be like, oh, Church Nelly. And children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. And of course, while Church Nelly is singing, she's also getting rid of that one little hair on her chin that has been coming out since the change. While I'm dreaming. Oh, yep. That one little hair. Okay, well, who am I kidding? Those few little hairs that has been coming out since she's gone through the change. Yep. So, uh, okay. I better get going then. All right. So let me see here. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. But yeah, that's my favorite Christmas song. I like that one, and of course the Ella wishes you a swinging Christmas. If you haven't heard Ella Fitzgerald's Christmas album, Ella wishes you a swinging Christmas, you haven't lived. That is like, for an album, that is my favorite Christmas album, is Ella wishes you a swinging Christmas. I would say every song on that album is perfect. I mean, she doesn't put a note out there that is not pitch perfect. Okay. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. May your days be right. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Yeah, you got to hear Ella Fitzgerald. She really swings it. If you like that kind of swing music, you will love Ella Fitzgerald's Christmas album. They had it on sale at Starbucks years ago, and I purchased one. And I mean to tell you, every day I popped that CD in there because I just had to listen to it. It's called Ella Fitzgerald Wishes You a Swingin' Christmas. Do check it out. Let me see here. I don't know. I'm hoping for at least 6 p.m. Central Time. I'm hoping. So definitely earlier is what I'm aiming for. But it really depends on what's happening with the family. So we'll see. But they always tend to do things early. So I guess I'm going to have to do stuff early. But yeah, it depends on what the family's doing. So we'll see. Which reminds me, I got to kit all of my little gifts together. That's what I got to do before I go to bed. I need to kit everything together. I'm excited too. For a couple of them, they have those initial, I think they're canvas shopping bags. So I got at least a couple of them, the initial canvas shopping bags, and I'm going to throw some goodies inside of it. So that should be fun. Yeah, I like to do like gift bags with a whole bunch of stuff in it. Nothing like terribly expensive per se, but just, the fun of just pulling one thing out after the other, another thing after the other. That is always fun. That's like my favorite thing is when I have like multiple things in one box. That is so much fun. You can just kind of lay it all out on the table and be like, ooh, ooh, oh, wow, ooh. I love doing that. So have yourself a merry little Christmas now. Through the years we all may be together if the fates allow. You know, when that song was written, the song was written with Church Nelly in mind. Did you all know that? Seriously. When they wrote the song, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, it was inspired by Church Nelly. Of course, the lyrics was a little different. Like, for instance, you know how they say, through the years we all may be together. Well, the original version was, through the beers we all may look so much better. Or was it with some beer? With some beer, we all may feel better. Yeah, that's it. If the alcohol allows. You see there? But, you know, when Church Nelly was one of the co-writers on the song, they liked the melody, but they had to make it kid-friendly. So they had to exchange year for beer. So... Oh man. Yeah, they had to swap a year for beer, which wasn't easy because, I mean, you try to take Church Nelly's beer, okay? That wasn't easy. I'm so bad. Which, by the way, you guys, I don't know if you know this, but the reason why Church Nelly is absent tonight, I'm going to show you why she's absent tonight. I know where she is, and I know who she's hanging out with. Give me just a second. I'll show you. I'll show you. I will show you. Give me just a second. Nope, that's not it. Oh, let me go down here. If you want to know why Church Nelly is absent, I will show you. You know, you can fool some of the people some of the time, and you might even fool all of the people most of the time, but you can't fool me anytime because I know. I be knowing. Let me see. Let me find that evidence. I know exactly where she is. Because, see, Church Nelly has a social media account, and sometimes she posts pictures and she doesn't know that I know it's her account. So give me a second. I will show you where she is right now. Right there. She's hanging out with some of her friends. Now, surely there's an explanation why you don't see Church Nelly in the picture, but she's holding the camera. See? She's the one holding the camera. She and the rest of the pensioners are entertaining themselves. They have hired a dancer. So, yeah. As you can see, they have hired themselves a dancer. So, Church Nelly, your cover has been blown. We know where you are, and we know what you're doing. And I think it's disgusting. So, and especially on Christmas of all times, to actually go out and hire a dancer. Christmas, really? Really? So that's why they say be careful what you do, because there's always somebody watching and you never know. Okay, so with that, you guys, I'm going to let that be the last word of the night, and I am going to get some sleep, I think. So love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. And remember, the Sussexes are going to be okay because there's definitely someone watching over them. And there is someone who has been the rock of the Sussex family that is there with them. So they are going to be okay. And this coming year is going to be so much more exciting, I promise. All right. So with that, you guys, let's cue the Ginger Avenger, and I will see you tomorrow. Love you guys. Good night.